Welcome back to the Foundry by Forge College. I'm absolutely thrilled you're tuning into this explainer today because we're diving into building comprehensive test scripts. Now, this is a core part of our broader track on building dApps on Solana, specifically within testing frameworks and comprehensive testing. Today, we're going to build an automated, high-precision assembly line for testing your Solana dApps. So think of it less like writing a few isolated lines of code and way more like engineering a self-running factory, one that stress tests those smart contracts and neatly packages all the results right up for you. All right, so today's blueprint is broken down into 5 systematic phases. We've got 1. From design to automation. 2. Anatomy of a test. 3. Automating assertions. 4. Structuring output. And 5. Verifying results. Let's get right into it.
Phase 1. From design to automation. If you caught our previous lesson, Foundations of Test Design for Composable Contracts, you'll remember we were essentially acting as architects, right? We manually drafted our templates and mapped out traceability rules on paper. But hey, blueprints don't build themselves, so our goal for this explainer is to actually fire up the machinery. We're going to automate that test execution so we get structured, machine-readable outputs without lifting a manual finger.
But before we jump straight into the code, we need to quickly nail down our core operational philosophy. We call it comprehensive testing. This is basically a pattern covering 4 absolute must-haves: setup, execution, validation, and cleanup. Think of it as the central mechanism ensuring every single part of your testing assembly line is prepped, rigorously stress-tested, accurately validated against your expectations, and then totally cleaned up and packaged at the end. Without all 4 of these gears turning together, your tests are really just isolated, unreliable scripts.
Moving on to Phase 2, Anatomy of a Test.
So you can think of every single test on Solana as its own mini assembly line. Step 1 is the setup. This is where we prep the workbench by generating our ephemeral Solana key pairs, a payer and a recipient. Next up, Step 2, the execution. Here, we actually interact with the Solana network via RPC, maybe hitting it with an airdrop or sending a transfer transaction. Then comes Step 3, validation. We don't just sit back and hope the execution worked, we use automated assertions to mathematically prove it did by double-checking account balances. And finally, Step 4, teardown and output. We log the execution time, catch any random errors, and basically print the paperwork. Now, to keep this assembly line humming along across dozens of tests, we rely on a brilliant little TypeScript wrapper function called runTest. You can imagine runTest as an automated clipboard manager that literally never sleeps. It records the exact start time, wraps the execution in a try-catch block to gracefully handle any unexpected explosions, and then logs the results uniformly for every single test in your suite. It guarantees that whether a test passes flawlessly or fails catastrophically, the output format is always exactly identical.
All right, Phase 3, automating your assertions.
We're going to build 3 specific test cases using the Solana Web3.js library to put our components through the stress tester. Test 001 is pretty straightforward. We request an airdrop of LAMP ports to our payer and assert that the balance actually increased. Test 002 takes those funds and transfers a chunk from the payer to the recipient, again, asserting the final balances match our math. But Test 003, that one's my absolute favorite. We are intentionally requesting a completely impossible block slot. Honestly, there's just something deeply satisfying about intentionally breaking the system, just to watch your safety assertions jump in and catch the failure exactly as they were designed to.
Phase 4, structuring the JSON output. Let's talk about packaging.
Check out this strict wiring we need to establish. Notice how perfectly the report template fields map directly to the script output keys. Your automated script literally must emit exactly these keys: test ID, status, duration MS, and logs. Because if you decide to rename even one of these keys in your code, the downstream report generator just won't be able to digest the metrics. No manual editing allowed here. A test that a machine can't parse might as well not even exist in a continuous integration environment. And when the testing shift is finally over and all assertions have run, our run test script does one final vital job. It neatly serializes the entire array of those perfectly structured JSON outputs into a pristine file saved right inside your out directory as results.json. It even slaps a nice ISO timestamp on there so you know exactly when the factory floor closed for the day. Finally, Phase 5. Verifying the results. Time to play QA inspector. So, The most crucial point here is that a successful testing checkpoint doesn't just mean your code ran without crashing. It actually requires exactly 3 concrete, indisputable observations to pass our QA.
Let's walk through those 3 checks. First, we need 0 syntax errors. The script's got to terminate normally with an exit code of 0. Second, you absolutely must verify that the results.json file exists in the out directory and that it parses as completely valid JSON. And third, maybe most importantly, that JSON array has to contain a minimum of 3 entries demonstrating both pass and fail states. Remember our intentional failure on that impossible block slot? We need to see the diagnostic text for it. If your failure doesn't generate a structured reason in the logs, downstream reporting has no idea why it failed, which makes debugging basically impossible.
Which brings us to a concept I absolutely love, and I really want you to keep this in the back of your mind as you build. Structured failures are the foundation of unbreakable reliability. Look, anyone can write a test that passes, but capturing uniform, highly structured, well-documented errors when things inevitably go wrong, that is the true first step toward building incredibly resilient, reliable dApps on Solana. So what does your error handling say about your dApp?
Next time, we're going to take these beautifully structured JSON failures and dive right into debugging and validating dApp reliability. We'll use these exact outputs to practice targeted debugging workflows. Until then, I highly encourage you to explore the incredible Web3 learning programs we have available right now. Head over to forge.college to learn more about this subject, advanced testing frameworks, and so much more. Keep building those indestructible assembly lines, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.